That's 402-467-4444.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be 10 years shorter. And the time you do have is often filled with health problems. Shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Welcome into the locker room, the most sacred of spaces in sports. Talking you through the behind-the-scenes conversations that happen behind closed doors. With former Nebraska football tight end Chancellor Brewington.
Chancellor Brewington, the 6-year senior tight end, finding his way into the end zone.
And former South Dakota State running back and Nebraska football assistant, Mikey Daniel.
Hand off to Daniel inside the 2 to the 1, and he powers his way into the end zone for a South Dakota State touchdown.
This is The Locker Room, brought to you by Ep Foundation Repair. Here are your hosts, Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel.
We are back for another week here in the locker room. We wish that we were celebrating a big victory for Nebraska, but unfortunately they fall to Illinois. Let's hear from Chancellor and think a little bit right through this game here.
Yeah, so I hope everyone out there is having a great day. I know we lost on Friday, right? But big picture, it doesn't, pertaining to your guys' individual lives, it doesn't really mean a whole bunch. So don't let it mean a whole bunch. Let's just talk through it as a football game, because that's really all it is a football game. I put out a tweet and I said, what are your thoughts, after the win? And I, got a lot of responses, right? A lot of them were super negative and super, how should I say? Just very negative and kind of jumped the gun on a lot of things, right? So I just want to break this game down from a football standpoint, X's and O's, from a statistical standpoint, and also just like put in some logistics as well, and like where this team, if this changed the landscape for the season, did this change anything for Nebraska's season, moving forward? So obviously Nebraska falls 24-31. Okay. We can start off first quarter. Illinois scores 7, Nebraska scores 10. And it's funny because I did predict 10-7 going into second quarter. And then Nebraska goes up second quarter. Illinois scores 3, Nebraska scores 7. So at halftime, it is 10-17 Nebraska, right? So at this point in time, you're thinking a couple things. Nebraska needs to run the football. Nebraska needs to, maintain a lead or separate, and somehow they come out third quarter and don't score a point, right? So if we get 3 points there, we end up winning the game. I think that's the theme here. Is just, one score in third quarter, we win the game, of course. Going into the fourth quarter, 7-7 ends up tying the game up. So if we just add in 3 more points in the third quarter, okay, that's very, very simple. But let's actually break down the game from the stat sheet. Also talking about, first takes on the offense, final thoughts on the offense and how everything went. So Dylan Rowlett throws for 24, has 35 attempts, 24 completions, 297 yards, and 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Of course, the interception, I don't know. I thought it could have went both ways. I thought it could have went INT. I thought it could have went touchdown. They called it touchdown, reversed it. If you just look at the ball placement, beautiful ball. 2 weeks in a row, really. 2 weeks in a row. You had the one to Jalen Lloyd last week. If he extends his arms, DB bats it down, whatever, right? It was really, I would say those type of balls were like, 70-30 balls, 70% chance that the receiver comes down with it based on ball placement, based on matchup and all that good stuff. So just starting off with Dylan, I thought he played a really, really, really polished game. There were some things at the end, and I know people are critical, he turned into a different player at the end. Well, guess what happened? They got into a lot of obvious pass downs. And when, you get in those situations, defense coordinators and especially D lines, I mean, they know exactly what you're about to get into. You have our left tackle go out, you put a youngin in there. He kind of, had some growing pains throughout the game. I'm sure that was probably really good for him. And this is what I want to talk about moving on, and we'll continue on Dylan Raiola is that this game was really good for Nebraska. And I know a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? We lost. Well, we'll get into it. I'll save it. This game was really good for Nebraska. So Dylan Raiola, at the end of the game, well, I just have to say, I mean, excellent job. First 3 quarters, first 3.5 quarters, even fourth quarter as well. I think it was really just that last drive, the 2 fumbles. But I mean, excellent. Some of the throws he's making, the one to Nair, the rollout to the left before the half, the back shoulder to Jamal Banks before that whole drive. I mean, just superb. I mean, you can't expect more out of a freshman quarterback. And to say, and in my eyes, I'm like, I'm waiting for him to have a quote unquote freshman moment, right? And I'm waiting for it because I'm like, he's super aggressive with these throws, super aggressive in just the reads. He's not even aggressive, just very thorough. I mean, he's not, if the read is, that safety, flies over off the hash and you're supposed to hit the seam, then he hits the seam. So it's like it's super calculated decisions. And I'm so impressed, and I'll continue to say this, just the way he's able to get through his progression so fast, so quick, and so efficiently, and be able to hit his checkdowns. I think that's one thing I'm just super impressed with. We talk about the fourth quarter drive. I think that was good for him. I think that was good. Maybe a little loose with the football. I mean, not having 2 hands on it, moving up and throughout the pocket in scramble mode, not having 2 hands on the football, getting a small bit, not carried away, but loose with the football. I guess that's the only way I can put it. So moving forward, I mean, having that in your back pocket, knowing that as Dylan, I mean, now he's got that built into the subconscious now. Like, look, okay, this Big Ten D line, they're gonna be trying to swipe at this football. I thought it was really good for him, right? And then you get into the fourth quarter, I mean, the overtime situation. Not really much you can do if you're Dylan. And I know you can't take a sack there, right? But put yourself in that situation. I mean, go put yourself in that situation. Go have, your O-line not slide and pick up, the Mike backer blitzing right down the middle, running straight at you, taking a fantastic angle to the field, cutting you off. Like what would you do in that situation, right? Of course, he's getting paid the big bucks and you're not, but I think the principle in it is that we don't get to that situation, right? The game should have never got there. Of course, the 4th and 3, and some people are split are on 2 different ends of the spectrum, and I'm somewhere in the middle. Some people say, why do you kick it? Some people say, you should have kicked it, right? And implying that you don't kick it would be implying that you go for it, right, in some sort of fashion, whether it's throwing the ball, whatever. My particular take on that is he was right in what he did. I believe he was right in what he did. I believe that by kicking it, I mean, the field goal kicker, he was 100% up to that point. I mean, it's not like a thing where he missed already, and there was already a lack of confidence issues. It looked like when he was hitting too, it was right down the middle. It wasn't like these kicks where it's, wide, almost wide left, or, it's like, dang, like it's an extra point, he almost missed that. It wasn't those type of situations. So I'm in agreement with the kicking the ball right there. If he makes that, we're all clapping, Lincoln's on fire, and we're talking about, us being a, top 20 team in the nation, right? He misses it. Defense does do a good job, and we'll talk about defense here in a second. Defense does a good job stopping Illinois. They go for on fourth down. We end up was it fourth? They went for on fourth down, I believe, right?
To score the touchdown, they did.
After the missed field goal, I believe they went for on fourth down.
They ended up having to punt it back to Nebraska.
Oh, they punted it. Okay.
Down in like the 8, and then
Okay.
Nebraska downed it because they didn't have time.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. So they did a good job making them go 3 and out in some sort of fashion. Getting down to this interesting part of this offense, and Rule had a press conference today, and he talked about the lack of Emmett Johnson on the field, and I was super confused by it. I didn't understand it. You look at the rushing yards. He said he wanted to have one back around 20 to 25 carries. He wanted the next back around 15 carries. Well, it was kind of and I fully understand the rhythm of the game and the way the game was going. The game really didn't, I would say, call for that. I think it was Dylan had the hot hand. Dylan was making really, really, really good decisions. So why go away from that? And I think Satterfield called a really good game. I would say a good game. I got really hype after the game. I said, "Oh, he called a great game, right?" And so I went back and I watched it. I thought in one specific scenario, I really did not like it. There was a third down. I believe it was 3rd and 4, and it was like right after the half or right before. I think it was right after the half. And they call kind of a a slant to Carter Nelson, crossface on the nickel, number 14. And I didn't like it personally. And this is super particular and super nitpicky, right? But just looking at like the way the game was going, Dylan was doing a really good job making decisions, going through full concepts. And it seemed like you're going to get man in that situation, that 3rd and 4. So putting Carter Nelson on the quote unquote man beating route, right? You're really at that point, you're putting all your confidence in this true freshman. Although the game before, he did a good job, on the option route and the screen, and he's not playing bad football, right? But you're putting all your, putting all your bucks in one basket, and expecting Carter Nelson to beat a man-to-man route, and he did it. So in that situation, I would honestly just would have loved to just see a full progression, maybe a mirrored concept or something where Dylan gets to play make and do Dylan type stuff. Cause I think that's when he's best, is when you put him in situations where, he has the control to make, thorough decisions and things like that. So you go to Dante Dowdale carry. He had 20 carries, 72 yards. Fantastic. I mean, great. I would say good. Fantastic was jumping the gun a little bit. Good football. I think there was a drive, I believe it was second quarter, where he broke a couple back to back. I still would have loved to get Emmett in there. Maybe splitting that up. Maybe, him getting, 16 or 15 carries, Emmett getting, 5 or 6 right there. But I thought he did a good job. Ramir Johnson gets in there for 4 carries, 17 yards. Not a whole bunch in the rushing game, just to be honest. You look at the rushing yards, it says 48, but Dylan took, I believe it was 3 or 4 or 5 sacks in the last 2 drives, and it caused the rushing yards to be minus 52 for him. So it kind of skewed the stats a little bit. But I think the one thing with Dante is he's a bruiser. He's one of those guys that, you continue to give him the ball. You continue to run him downhill. He's going to make the defense feel it. And I feel like that was the game plan going in, is that, Illinois runs this 5 down front. If we block up, this first 5, he's going to be one-on-one with the backer, and eventually one's going to pop. And, I believe he had like a 12 to 15 yard run, and that was the longest run of the day. Kind of on that, everything downhill in between the tackles. But yeah, I think moving forward, when we get into Purdue week, when we get into Purdue, go play in Indiana, I think there's going to be a need in the third quarter and specifically the fourth to close out games with our running backs. And whether that be Emmett, whether that be Ramir, whether that be Dante, I would love to see a consistency with roles, a consistency with, okay, Dante's our guy, but we love to sprinkle in Emmett, our on our third drive or our second drive. Emmett always gets the second drive, and then we'll evaluate who has the hot hand, whether it's something like that, or we're just gonna run Dante, and whoever fits in, right? Receiving room. The receiving room, and I'll give my grades for Raiola. I think he played B. Fuck, I'm conflicted. I don't know if I can give him B plus. I'll give him B. I think it's a B. I think it's a B. I believe the running back room, I would give him a C plus. I'll give him a C plus. I just thought there was times where maybe we got a little too aggressive instead of pressing holes, and Dante just being so dominant and not dominant, so physical. I thought there's times he could have pressed some gaps, pressed some holes, and made some guys miss in some areas instead of seeking out contact. But if that's the type of guy he is, so be it. This receiving room, I got to give him A. I have to give him an A. The only thing I could think of is, no, I can't think of anything. Jamal Banks, 8 receptions, 94 yards. Isaiah Nair, 4 receptions, 90 yards. Fedoni getting in there. We talked about Fedoni, two catches, 46 yards. Nair with 2 touchdowns. You even got Bonner on that jet sweep. Even got them on there. So we'll continue to talk about it. We'll give the grades for the receivers and the O-line when we get back. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that coming up next year on The Locker Room on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements. Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Gentlemen, it's time to elevate your style with something from our men's jewelry and watch collection. Why not treat yourself to the ultimate in luxury? We've got an incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Tailored Life is your headquarters for all things fall in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, mums, and more. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by App Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the locker room here on 93.7 The Ticket. We are breaking down the Nebraska-Illinois game and giving grades. Specifically on offense, we gave a few there from Chancellor. Let's hear from a few more and continue to break down this game.
Yeah, so we got Dylan Raiola. In the passing game, I gave him just command of the game. I gave him I believe I give him a B+.
You put it to a B there.
Okay, B. Yeah. A B, yeah. So then I went rushing, the whole running back room. I gave him a C+. And then receiving room, I gave these boys an A. And then O-line. This is an interesting one because you have to take into consideration what they was dealing with. You know, Mazuka out, Kokorin go out, Turner. It's like a whole, you got two new pieces, right? So I would say this is tough. I'll give him a C+. Specifically for the last two drives. I thought, you get obvious pass situations. Like I said, D-line's going to give you their best everything, right? So, yeah, I'll give them C+. It'll be interesting to see, how they come out against Purdue because Purdue has a potential, top three round draft pick in their DN. Big old boy, number 4. He ate us up last year. So it'll be interesting to see. And then tight ends. My guys, man, I thought they played good. I thought they played good football. I thought there was a lot of key moments, key blocks. I'll give them a B-. I'll give them a B- because I'm gonna be harsh on my guys, man. So moving on to defense. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is where you talk about bend don't break. Well, we almost broke. I'll tell you that much. And It's tough. So let's just look at Altmaier. He goes 21 for 27, 215 yards rushing. I mean, passing, 4 touchdowns. And they ran the ball for 166 yards. Long of 21 from 2 guys, Lowry and Fegan. So when you look at this defense, a few things popped out and a few things caught my eye. And I think a lot of it was a carryover from UNI. You look at the UNI game to start it off, and you're like, man, how come that they were able to move the football for 10 minutes and 8 seconds? Although they didn't really put on a very you know uh, a very a great game on the offensive side. They did move the football. And it was, at first, you're talking, people were saying, this defense didn't come out to play. It was because Mekhi Bayer was out. It was because Jamari Butler was out. Like, you really didn't know, okay, like, is this the new defense? Whatever. And I honestly don't even think this game reflects the defense. I don't think, this defense is a bad defense. I think this is a good defense. I think our D line maybe just didn't get off a bunch of blocks, like just point blank. Not to ever point any fingers. I don't really enjoy doing that. I don't think there's no place for that. I think linebackers. I mean, there's a lot of times we just weren't in the right gaps. Simply that. You look at DBs. I thought Tommy Hill let up that touchdown. Just poor technique. It happens, right? You bounce back. Sayer Wright had a really good game. I thought he was put in a tight spot. Pat Bryant actually went down, but the other receiver, Zachariah Franklin went down, but Pat Bryant, that's a good receiver. He had 5 catches, 74 yards. Week before that, over 100 yards. Good receivers, good receiving core. I think it was just a discipline thing. I think it was they got fooled on a lot of things. They put Pat Bryant to win the game at fullback, right? And whoever it was, whatever DB had him, got fooled by it. He gets into a flat catch the touchdown. They do the same thing with their tight end, Tanner Arkin. They kind of, we call it Spider 2 Y banana. Tight end, acts like he's blocking for a second, runs a corner route. Whoever had the tight end, it's literally just eye discipline. Lost him for a second. He gets into a corner of the end zone. And then they run the same exact play from a tight end hip. And they put in an O lineman or a D lineman, whatever you want to call him, a lineman, put an O lineman in for a tight end. People probably thought he was ineligible or didn't expect him to run a route. He ends up running the same exact route that Arkin ran, that kind of, down and then running the corner route. He catches a touchdown too. Eye discipline there. I talked about Pat Bryant, and at fullback, he runs a flat, goes into the flat. Eye discipline there. So like, it was really, I would say it was a lack of discipline. It was a lack of just doing your role. And it was interesting. Coach Rule had a press conference today, I believe, and he brought up a few things. He brought up how this defense practiced throughout the week, and he said they practiced very well. He said it was efficient play by them throughout the week. It was physical. One compliment he did have is that they're ripping at the football, and John Bullock, they throw that RPO little slant glance over top of them. Deshaun wraps him up, I believe. Malcolm Hartzog racks him up. The second guy comes in and strips. And he was talking about the year before, they were just trying to bang guys instead of holding guys up and getting the football out. Then obviously Sayer Wright, call him Hollywood. Hollywood goes in there. They send him on a corner cap. Altmaier doesn't see it. He's able to strip at the football. I think Mekhi Bayer recovers that one, and Deshaun Singleton recovered the last one that I was talking about. So the defense is getting the ball out. That's what I'm trying to say. Defense is getting the ball out. No interceptions, but Altmaier was playing really good football. We didn't get a lot of pressure on them, and I think the reason why we didn't get a lot of pressure on them, because they were doing so many things, as far as, running outside zone, inside zone, split zone, all these different things. And I think the D-line was just kind of getting caught off guard in certain situations. Maybe the gap integrity was a little low. But I would say, D-line, defense as a whole, I'd probably give them, C-. You get off the field one of those times, I mean, the game's over. That you just gotta think of it like that. We get off the field one of those times. Buford, I thought he played a good game. I thought Gift probably played the most sound out of everyone. Obviously, him kind of being like this kind of free hitter on this defense, the rover, this kind of alley runner. I just obviously wasn't pleased, and I don't think most of Nebraska fans were pleased on their discipline and, just knowing who they had in man, and then getting to special teams. This was a tough one. This was not something you want to see, but this is why I think this game was good, is that it exposed this. Last week you kind of get away with some things. Colorado, you get away with it because you blow them out. Starting with the Buschini punt, it's obviously lucky or some type of left call. He kicks it to the right. And lucky, I just meant the L in lucky. That's how like football calls are. You'll say like a L word and then an R word for it'll be like Lucky and Ringo, or Larry and Raleigh or something like that, right? So you punt the ball over there, yeah, they get a good return. So I think it's just simple things like that we need to clean up. And then obviously the kicking game. I believe the kicker Brett Maher, Brett Maher, he's working with the kickers. They're doing a bunch of visualization stuff, making highlight tapes of them seeing themselves kicking good kicks, doing all this, mental psychology work, and that's great, and I know it's going to benefit. But this type of stuff happens. You put in a young kicker in hole, and he goes 1 for 2, and doesn't necessarily he misses one kick, right? He misses one kick, and the sky's falling, right? And I think moving forward, we just need to clean that up. We need to clean that up, and we need to understand that as an offense, man, if it's going to get to that point where we don't really know and we don't really have full trust, right, in our kickers, we can't even let it get to that point.
There you go. Let's take a quick break. We'll have one final segment here on The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing cloud cover throughout the day and light winds with an afternoon high around 73. Tonight we'll see increasing cloud cover with a low around 52. And tomorrow there's a chance of showers, possibly storms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies and a high around 78. I'm meteorologist Kyle Buck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Davis Plumbing is a locally owned company specializing in a wide range of plumbing services for both commercial and residential customers. Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and has a team of experienced plumbers ready to help you with any project, big or small. Customer satisfaction and peace of mind is their number one priority. So for any commercial or residential project, give Davis Plumbing a call today at 402-525-6922. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith. Innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting book. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
It's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. So why leave your connection up to chance? Fiber is fast and keeps you on track with reliable service from real people. Because with bad internet, buffering, hidden fees, and random robots can feel like start, stop, wait, start, no wait, stop, or just switch to Fiber and break free from misery. Visit allofiber.com/break free to get started with Fiber today.
HealthLink is elevating the human experience with holistic health, weight loss, nutrition, fitness, and wellness solutions. They offer one-on-one health coaching while personalizing nutrition and wellness plans for structure and simplicity. HealthLink provides nutritious foods such as high-protein entrees, meal replacement snacks, and supplements. But that's not all. If you mention 93.7 The Ticket, you'll get a 5% discount on your order and $20 off your first month if you start a HealthLink subscription. Find your missing link with HealthLink today on the southeast corner of 70th and Pioneers or by phone at 402-858-9356. You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com, serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 in instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's the greatest time of the year again. Kickoff is here and football is officially back. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog, and this year you can too. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with promo code EARLY, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit.
That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code EARLY to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 19 plus in Nebraska and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by F Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, stay tuned to The Locker Room tomorrow. We'll get our response from this game from Mikey Daniels that he will be able to join us tomorrow. But for now, final segment with Chancellor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're listening to The Locker Room. I am Chancellor Brewington. We're sponsored by F Foundation Repair. Man, we were just going through grading Nebraska's position group, and to give you a recap, I went Dylan Raiola, quarterbacks. I went did I go B plus?
You ended up going B.
I went B.
Sounds like you might want to go B.
Yeah, I think I just need to go B plus. Rushing, I went C, I believe, and then receiving, I went A minus. I'll give him A minus. Tight ends, I'll give him a B plus. Well, I'll just give him a B. I'll just give him a B. O-line, I'll give him a C. And then defense as a whole, I'll give him oh my gosh. I mean, I'm trying to think, okay, now I'm trying to think of what the defense would give themselves. Like if we had Ty, Giff, and Jamari here right now, right? What would they say? They would probably say a D. So I would, out of respect for them and the way that their standard is, if Tony White was here, what would he say? Probably an F, right? Just because the standard that they have. So I'll go off of their standard. Although I'm not in the building, but I can per se, I can kind of gauge on what they would say. I'll give them a D. Okay. Special teams, I'll give them Bach. Killing me, Bach. I'll give him a D. I'll give him a D. Is that too rough?
I think that might be a little rough.
That's a little rough.
Yeah.
I'll give him C. I'll give him C. I'll give him a C. And overall as a team, I'll give this game, Nebraska's performance overall, I would say around a C. It's 73, 74, and I believe they were playing good football before this, especially on the defensive end. You go and stop Colorado. You look at the game Shador had. I mean, first of all, I don't really love to talk about rivals and whatever, but the Colorado, that was a fantastic game. I mean, that was one of the best games of the season. And I feel like Colorado is consistently, Shador and Travis and, Coach Prime and that whole offense, they're consistently putting these games together. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to just recap the game a little bit. My last thoughts going into Purdue after a loss from Illinois is, how does this team respond? And I preface this show by saying this win was good for Nebraska, and I'll explain it right now. What did this show us? This showed us before we didn't really have a gauge on, how the special teams really was. We had the block punt, but it kind of got overshadowed by the win, right? We had the Colorado kick return, right? It kind of got overshadowed, by the win, by the blowout. You and I, there's a couple minor things, right? You had some missed field goals that was kind of overshadowed by our winnings. So now, you kind of have a heightened sense of awareness and a heightened sense of urgency when it goes into special teams specifically. And now this week, I mean, I'm sure this defense is going to be hyper focused on, stopping the run and their eye discipline. And, when they get in play action situations, knowing exactly, where our man is and man to man, no matter what personnel, they could come out with, all linemen on the field, but we're going to make sure that we know where our man is. If they slip out into the flat, we're going to cover them every single time. Right. So it kind of, in a good sense, I'm not saying in a negative sense at all, it kind of exposed these things. And so now when you look at the preparation for this week, I mean, this is the unfortunate part about that last week is you put all this on film. So you put on film, you lose track of your man when you get in heavy personnel and you show run fakes and this and that, right? So you put all this on film. You put a block punt on film. You put some missed field goals on film. You put a misdirected punt on film. So you put all these things on film. So now what happens is Purdue's going to watch this tape. Rutgers going to watch this tape. Do we play Indiana this year?
Yep.
Well, Indiana's going to watch this tape. USC, Ohio State, UCLA, and Iowa is all going to watch this tape. And they're all going to see, okay, but see how Illinois attacked them? See how you and I ran the football? We can do that too. So it gives your opponent kind of this like heightened sense of, it gives them like a fake self-esteem, right? Because they see someone else do it and they think they can do it. So now you're going to be fighting this battle because of the holes in the gaps that you allowed in week 4. Okay, so now is the sky falling? No, it's not. The sky's perfectly fine. It looks beautiful today, right? Nothing. This really doesn't affect anything. If you don't let it affect anything. If you want it to affect everything, Bach, guess what? It's going to affect everything, and the season going to go downhill. And so I think, and Coach Rule talked about it. And I've been in these situations where you don't really know how to feel after these type of losses, right? You kind of get in these situations where, you lose and you don't know how you're supposed to show up in the building the next day. Are you supposed to laugh? Are you supposed to, smile? Is coach going to get mad if I smile? Is coach, like you don't really know, right? And so I think Coach Rule has done a good job of affirming his players that look, like we messed up, but if you carry last week's loss into this week, you're gonna quote unquote die, right? You're gonna quote unquote lose. You're not gonna be an efficient team. You're not gonna be effective. So to move forward is literally to move forward. It's to understand the whole. So I think the film part and anytime you now as a Nebraska team, you reference this Illinois game, you don't reference it as a loss. You reference it as the things that you let up and the gaps and the holes that you've shown. And then you always take those things into each week. So as you're preparing for Purdue week, you say, hey, remember when we let up this against Illinois? We can't let that happen again. So it's not necessarily a thing where you bring up a loss, right? But you bring up the holes and the gaps in which you've shown on film, because that's where these Big Ten teams are going to target you. When I first got into Big Ten football, Bach, this is what they told me. They said it's a copycat league, and I said, what do you mean by that? So if Illinois scored on this hide the tight end stuff, throw the tight end in the flat, guess what Purdue gonna put in this week? They're gonna put it in. I guarantee we're gonna see it, and it's gonna be Nebraska's job to stop it. And guess what? If they don't stop it, we got Rutgers next week. The week after, guess what Rutgers gonna do? The same thing. And then we go play Indiana. They're gonna do it, and then USC, and then Ohio State, and then UCLA. They're all gonna do the same thing because it's all a copycat league. And so if Nebraska wants to be the Nebraska that they are and that they can be, guess what they're going to have to do? Just patch up the things that they put on film and move forward.
There you have it. Despite what you might have heard, the sky is not falling. Nebraska's got a lot of season ahead of them. We'll learn more about that and hear more about that with Chancellor and Mikey Daniel tomorrow. But for now, that'll wrap up the Locker Room on the Block. Coming up next here, don't go anywhere on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basements? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OakStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
Oak Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
It's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. So why leave your connection up to chance? Fiber is fast and keeps you on track with reliable service from real people. Because with bad internet, buffering, hidden fees, and random robots can feel like start